On the second half of today's lesson, we will be identifying what the vertex of each of these parabolas are, and then also we're going to give a maximum or minimum value of the function. And so all a vertex is where the graph changes direction. And so as we look at the graph, it's going up as I go from right to left, but then right at this point here, it changes directions, and that's what we call the vertex. So that's our vertex there, and all you have to do is label the point. And so the point is 2 spaces to the right on the x-axis and 4 spaces up on the y-axis. So that vertex is 2, 4. And that's it. And then they also ask us to give the maximum or minimum value. Well, you look at this, and this is considered a maximum value because it doesn't get any higher than that. That's as high as the graph goes. And so the maximum value is just what the y value is. So the maximum value is 4. It's whatever the y value is for the function. And so we'll look at the next one, and we see that it continues to go on forever up, but then it does end up bottoming out right at this point right here. And so that is, again, considered our vertex. And the vertex is just the ordered pair that represents, so it's 1 space to the left on the x-axis, and it's 3 spaces down, so that's -1, -3. So that's our vertex. And then this one has a minimum value because it doesn't get any smaller than that. The graph doesn't go any lower than -3 on the y-axis. So the -3 represents the minimum value, -3. So when they're talking about maximum or minimum, they're talking about what the y value of that vertex is. Well, the next set of directions asks you to find the domain and range. So what we need to remember is, well, what is domain? What is range? Well, the way I always remembered it is that we have our x-axis and our y-axis. Well, x comes before y in the alphabet, just as D in domain comes before the R in range. So range is our range is our y value, domain is our x. So one of these, the domain actually, is going to have continuous values. See how it goes down, and it's going down to the right. Down to the right. And it's going down to the right forever. Here, in this side, it's going down, but then to the left. Down to the left forever. So our domain values, and we'll write it right here, our domain values are all real numbers. So it's every number that's on that number line. We call those real numbers. So that represents rational numbers, numbers we can represent as fractions, and even irrational numbers, numbers that we cannot represent as fractions. Well, the range values are the possible y values. And so the y values top out at this maximum point. So let's see how many spaces up it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces up on the y-axis. So the y values have to be less than or equal to 4. So that's what the range values are. So the domains were all real numbers on the x-axis because they went forever to the right and forever to the left. It doesn't look as though it's going very far to the left, but it is, as you continue going down, it does go to the right. So it is going down to the right forever and down to the left forever. So it's all real numbers for the domain. Range values were limited at every number smaller than or equal to 4. Well, we have the same scenario for this one. So again, our domain values are on the x-axis. So they're running along this x-axis. The range values, again, always run on the y-axis. And so as we look at this, this one's going up and to the left forever. And as I look at this, I see that I don't know my left and right too well because I said left was right here. So this was to the right forever and to the left forever. So let's fix that real quick. And back over to this other one. Again, we're going up to the left, and over here we're going up and then to the right. And so as I go up to the left and up to the right forever, that means my domain values could be any number. They could be any number along this x-axis. I could be over here at 1,000,000 or over here at -1,000,000,000, and I'd still be able to go up a bunch of points and be able to be on that graph. So that's why we say our domain values are all real numbers. And again, those real numbers include any rational number, any number between those intervals, and any irrational numbers, numbers that we can't even represent as fractions, but are still on this number line. So the range values, well, those values, they run along the y-axis. So they are limited. They're limited by this value right here, which we consider our minimum value. So we got to count how many spaces down we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 spaces down from the y-axis. A -5, that's our minimum value. So all the y values are greater than or equal to -5. And so those are the range values. So we had the domains, all real numbers. Range values were any number that was greater than or equal to -5. So those are the types of problems you'll end up seeing on tonight's homework. Good luck.